Welcome to the Boat Buyer's Secret Weapon video series. I'm your host, Captain Matt, and it is the end of October. It is October 27th, and I wanted to give you an update on the impact of COVID-19 on buying a boat in 2021. It's been a really weird 2020 and 2021 if you're looking to buy a boat. Wanted to give you some insights, an insider perspective of what's going on in the industry. So we're going to talk about the real story on inventory levels at the dealer level, what manufacturer is doing, prediction and production, the supply chain situation, what's going on that could potentially impact your boat purchase, ordered boat opportunity, and used boat inventory. So we're going to go through all of that and give you an insight. This is something I'm probably going to do every month as kind of new information comes available, and I'm getting more inside information for you. So of course, we're brought to you by the Boat Buyer's Secret Weapon Toolkit. You can grab that for free at boatbuyerssecretweapon.com/toolkit. It's yours free, gives you a lot of great information. Thousands of people at this point have received this toolkit and are getting great responses from them, and they're using it to make sure they make a smart decision. So go grab yours if you're in the boat shopping process right now. So let's talk about what's really going on with inventory. This is something that was released, some research that was released as of the most recent numbers were August of 2020. So you can see the inventory levels, and this is a asking the dealers, where do you see your inventory level right now? Are you comfortable? Is it too high? Is it too low? Or do you feel it's pretty good? So you can see as we went into the early January 2020, inventory levels they felt pretty high. There was a large amount of inventory that was sitting on the dealer lots, a few 2019, some 2020 models that were there, and more 2020s were coming in. The dealers felt that on average, over 60% of them felt that their inventory levels in their marketplace was too high. COVID hit, that spiked up. Everybody was nervous in February and March. They already felt it was high. It spiked up even more, got close to 80% thinking, hey, our inventories are too high. Well, April came around. People realized they had a lot of extra time. The stimulus checks hit. The weather was really nice around most of the country, and people flocked to outdoor activities, buying boats, buying RVs, buying camping equipment. Anything outdoor related just skyrocketed, and you see what happened. By June, the dealers were saying, hey, our inventory levels are already getting too low. We would like to have more boats on our lot right now, and we can't get them in from the factories because the manufacturers closed down for a couple of months. The suppliers to the manufacturers, that supply chain, which we'll talk about in a moment, they closed down as well. So all of the components that go into making a boat, everything stopped for about 2 months. They started opening up around May-ish or so, and then they had to make up for the 2 months they were closed, and they had to make up for the lack of parts and availability, because a $200,000 boat would be hung up in the production line because of a $20 piece that was needed to complete that phase of the build so they can continue on and finish the production. So it was a really weird situation. A lot of people were waiting a long time for their ordered boats, and that's the reason why. Continued in through June, July, August, and again, the dealers are saying, hey, based on where we're at, our inventory is way too low. You can see over 80% of the dealers surveyed said their inventory was too low, when just 6 months ago, 70% of them were saying their inventory was too high. So what happened is all of that inventory went down. The supply of boats from the manufacturers hit kind of a snag and slowed down. The production lines weren't up to their usual capacity. Some of them were being hung up because there were supply chain issues, and that's all starting to work itself out a little bit. But they're still, from the dealers, their prediction is that their inventory is too low, and they're ordering as many boats as their manufacturers will allow them to order. Now, here's the problem is the wholesale shipments. These are some quotes that I took from a few articles. The wholesale shipments of new powerboats had 3 consecutive months of growth. In August, they slowed down slightly, and it's 4 of the highest single month totals for new boats in a decade. So even despite the supply chain hiccups, they were still pumping out boats at an incredibly high level compared to the last 10 years. They also saw a slowdown in wholesale shipments of new powerboats in August because the related supply chain constraints that boat builders are facing. Marine parts to fulfill their boat ordered backlog in the surge in new boats. So this is from Vicky Yu in the NMMA Director of Business Intelligence, the National Marine Manufacturers Association. So this is the manufacturers association that all of the major boat manufacturers belong to. Yamaha, Mercury, Volvo, all of the engine manufacturers belong to, and they report their intelligence back to the NMAA. And this is what they were hearing is, hey, we're building boats as fast as we can, but we have some supply chain issues, things that are coming from China, things that are coming from overseas, things where the raw materials are coming from outside the country. All of that was backlogged, and you're finally seeing now in October, getting to early November, the end of October, that a lot of those issues are resolved, but not all of them. So you're seeing manufacturers trying to adjust where they get their supply. It's a very specific niche. You have to have high quality material. You have to have the right setup. And if you don't, like I said, a $200,000 boat can sit on the production line because of a $20 part or a $50 part that's missing. So that's what's going on. They're working out a lot of these details, but every now and again, it's kind of showing its ugly head. Different manufacturers are, trying to find their supplies in other ways. Sometimes it's working, sometimes it's not, and that's still going on today. Now, another thing that you may be caught off guard by is the experience that consumers were having with their boat purchases. A lot of this was due to supply chain issues. They had something that the part wasn't in, they delivered the boat, and it was taking months and months and months, and sometimes they're still waiting on parts for a warranty claim that they may have had. And the customer service rating that the CSI scores, the customer service intelligence, is a business that goes out and they survey customers that have recently bought a boat. And those scores went from 96.7% satisfied in April, dropping down to 90.4% in June. So that all of those issues in production, dealers being just overrun and swamped and trying to deal with the new health concerns and the new procedures, working out the technology glitches, getting product from their manufacturers, dealing with the supply of their boats, handling the huge influx of leads coming in, delivering all these boats with the social distancing guidelines, and there was a big hit to that consumer satisfaction rating that had been 97% or so and dropped down to just over 90%. So if you're buying a boat from a dealer, understand that some of these same issues are still going on. Hopefully over the winter months they get better and kind of fill in the gaps and fix the things that were broken in their process, and are ready for the bigger influx of leads coming in and the demand, because my expectation is that this demand is going to continue through the fall and the winter, and there's not going to be as much of a slowdown as there traditionally is in the retail industry. So some of the other things that they're hearing from dealers is some say they're already seeing the demand carry over to next season, which means that people are custom ordering their boats now for delivery in February, March, and April. And the orders are pouring in because they realize that if they don't order their boat now, they may not if they wait till the boat show season, which likely isn't going to happen in most of the country. Most of the boat show um, event planners are canceling their shows, and that's having an impact. So they're ordering their boat now, and if you wait till February, March, or April, when you would traditionally see a large influx of ordered boats from consumers, well, those, instead of being delivered in April, May, or June, those boats are going to likely be delivered in, September, October, November, and miss the season. And the more that happens, the more people are ordering now, and it's just kind of a cycle. So because those wait times are so long, looking for a particular boat, there's also some frustration. There's frustration with service. There's frustration with the parts not always being available. So be ready for that if you're looking to buy a boat, and if you're looking to order a boat, and go with the new boat. You want to look at taking action sooner as opposed to later. Do all of your due diligence. Make sure you find the right boat. Make sure you're getting exactly what you need. Use the Boat Buyer Toolkit as a guide to help you along. Use all the resources on the boatbuyersecretweapon.com and the YouTube channel. And the other thing that's happening is the used inventory is at record low levels right now, with 89% of retailers, of boat dealers, saying that they're way too lean. One dealer said they've never seen an inventory situation like they're experiencing in 30 years of being in the business. So this is a really unique experience. New boats at a very low inventory level. The manufacturers are having a hard time keeping up. I know of 7 specific manufacturers that have sold all of their production spots for 2021, and they're now selling 2022 boats as we're at the end of October in 2020. So it is an unusual situation. The demand continues to stay strong, as typically at this point we would see it dropping down in the industry. So be ready for that. And if you're looking for used boats, understand that the used boat inventory is going to be just as slim as it has been since about May of 2020. And that means prices are going to be a little bit inflated. There's some concerns that you need to think about. So here's my outlook. And I'll start with pre-owned. Is the market's going to continue to be in high demand for pre-owned boats, and the supply is going to be very, very low. The other thing that you need to watch out for is people, typically private sellers, but sometimes some unscrupulous dealers, be on the lookout for problem boats. When that supply is so low, we saw it in 2020, that people were selling boats that clearly had problems. Some of them known, some of them maybe not known, but I think most of them were known, and they were trying to slip these boats in and get rid of them, and sell it to an unsuspecting first-time boater that didn't know any better. It's why it's so important to use that toolkit, to watch all of the videos that apply to you on the channel, because you really can get everything that you need to know to make a smart decision. But if you're going pre-owned, just be on the lookout for something that doesn't seem right, and educate yourself. If you're buying a new boat and you say, hey, I don't need to order what I want, I'm going to go and I'm going to look at the dealer inventory, just understand that their inventory is likely going to be moving quickly in those popular segments. So pontoons and tri-toons, wake boats, and again, wake boat segment, the production spots are going very, very fast. Several of the pontoon manufacturers are having the same issue. Center consoles are very popular right now. So all of those more popular segments and the more popular sizes and options, understand that those will be going quickly, and the dealers aren't going to be able to restock their inventory like they typically would. Typically, they start getting their orders in October, November, December, January. They have boat show season, and then they'll still be receiving trucks in March, April, May, and June of the 2021 year. But what's happening is those March, April, May, and June spots are going to be taken by consumer ordered boats. So I think what's going to happen is the dealers are going to have a hard time restocking their inventory as they get into the heat of the season, as they continue to sell boats in the November, December of 2020, January, February of 2021. Even those dealers in the colder climates, I think, are going to see that happen. So my comment to you is if you want to get a boat for the 2021 boating season, don't delay. You're better off getting it a little bit earlier and getting what you want than delaying and thinking that, hey, it'll be there when I'm ready. Well, it likely won't be there based on what we're seeing in real inventory levels on the dealership floor right now, what the manufacturers are capacity to produce, because you can't just increase capacity at a boat dealer or a boat manufacturer. It takes ramp up. You got to increase the facilities, and most of them have been running at capacity for the last couple of years. So the other thing, if you're going to custom order a boat, if you say, hey, I want what I want and I'm going to order a boat, that's going to start taking 8 to 16 plus weeks. Right now, the typical turn time for an ordered boat in normal times is 6 to 8 weeks. Because of the demand, because they're running all out on the production lines, because of the supply chain issues that are out there still, even though they're kind of getting smoothed over, there's still some that are holding things up, and it doesn't take much to shut down a boat to get finished off the line, where, hey, you just can't, if you can't put this piece on, you can't move to the next stage and you can't deliver the boat. So my expectation is 8 to 16 plus weeks for an ordered boat is not going to be unheard of. So that's what, 3-4 months potentially. So if you ordered in November, that's November, December, January, February. If you waited till March, that would put you maybe a delivery in July if things don't go sideways. And that's if there's availability at all. So, like I said, there's some manufacturers that are already shut down and taking 2022 orders because they've already sold all of their production spots. They can't make more capacity because they know it takes so long to build a boat. They have so many people, they can run so many boats down the line at a time. Even if they're paying overtime, there's only so many they can produce. So I don't want you to get in a situation where this is the boat you want, you've done all the research, this is how you want it powered, this is how you want it optioned out, and you say, the boat show I think is going to happen in March, I'll just wait till March. And then you get to the boat show in March and they say, oh, it's not 16 weeks till delivery, it's going to be, you'll get your boat in October or November, and it's going to be a 2022 model. And I'm afraid that's going to happen. So if that's your situation, hopefully this is helpful for you. It may not be exactly what you want to hear, but it's the real take. I'm going to be doing this video, update it about every month as new information comes available, as we get more updates, as I get more kind of information from the marketplace, what's actually happening in the dealers around the country. I'm going to pass that along to you so that you can make the smart decision for you and your family. Again, if you're watching this video now, this is being recorded Tuesday, October 27th. So you have a frame of reference. Of course, YouTube has recommended some additional videos. Grab that toolkit. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you get that next update as we do that November, December, and January, or as any additional information comes out that I can share with you that I think is going to be valuable. Thanks for watching. Comment, ask your question if you've got a question in the comments. I'll address it in the next video, and I answer all comments in the comment section. So thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you soon.